Hey, what's good, football fans? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and also hit the thumbs up down below on this video. Alright, so in just a few short hours, the college football playoff will be revealed, the first year for the 12-team playoff. And if you think that the 4-team playoff was controversial as far as who gets in, who gets left out, who's seated where, then you ain't seen nothing yet, okay? So the conference championship games are over with, and this bracket has been shaken up, to say the least. So without further ado, I'm going to give what I think the college football playoff bracket should look like and who I think should be seated where, who should be in, who should not be in. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to reveal the first 4 seeds first. These are your conference champions that get a first round bye. Number 1 obviously is Oregon. They beat Penn State in the Big Ten championship. Penn State made it interesting there for a little while, but Oregon overall was the better squad, and they've clearly been the best team all year in college football. And so I have Oregon at number 1. Number 2, I have Georgia. So another overtime win for the second week in a row for the Dogs. And I believe this was the first time that the SEC championship had gone to overtime. I could be wrong about that. But nonetheless, Georgia, with their win in the SEC championship, they have locked up a playoff spot and a first-round bye, I think. Easily a first-round bye. I think they will be seeded number 2. Number 3, I have Boise State. And so for the longest time, I had Boise State in the first round. Obviously, they locked up their spot by beating UNLV in the Mountain West title game, and they're clearly the highest-ranked group of 5 conference champions. So, and I've got Boise State at number 3. And then number 4, I have Arizona State. Arizona State in blowout fashion beat Iowa State to win the Big 12. And so Arizona State, I think they're the hottest team in the country right now. And so with the run that they've been on. And so I have them at number 4. Now let's reveal seeds 5 through 12. Number 5, I have Penn State. So Penn State, as I just mentioned, they did lose to Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. But they put up a fight, and they made it interesting for a while. It looked like they might even steal one here and get a first-round bye, but it just wasn't to be. I still think Penn State is a good team, obviously, and so I have them at number 5. Number 6, I have Notre Dame. So Notre Dame, obviously, they're not in the conference, and so they ever since they had that loss to Northern Illinois, they have been on a tear. And so I have them at number 6. Number 7, I have Texas. So Texas, they came up short against Georgia yesterday, and both of their losses actually are against the Dogs. And so I have Texas at number 7. They're still easily a playoff team. I have Tennessee at number 8, and then Indiana at 9. Of course, neither team played yesterday, but they're solidly in the playoffs. Ohio State, I have them at number 10. And so had they not lost to Michigan last week, obviously they'd be seeded higher and maybe even in the first round had they had the chance to play Oregon in the Big Ten title game. But that loss to Michigan at home was inexcusable and should have never happened. But still, regardless of all that, Ohio State is a solid playoff team. I've got them at number 10. And so that just leaves 2 spots left. Who do they go to? Well, number 11, I have Clemson. So Clemson obviously is a automatic qualifier in a very good ACC championship game last night against SMU. They fought back after SMU clawed back to tie the game late. They won on a walk-off field goal. And so obviously Clemson is in the playoffs, and I have them as an 11 seed. And so who gets the final playoff spot at number 12? I think it's going to be SMU. So SMU, this was just their second loss of the season. And they went undefeated in conference play in their first year in the ACC. And so, with that, I think SMU should be in the playoffs. I think they deserve to be. So, the question is, who is out? So, I think Miami, because of Clemson winning last night, that knocks Miami out of the playoffs. Alabama, they've already had 3 losses. And notice here how I don't have any 3-loss teams in the playoffs, okay? Alabama, first off, they had no business losing to a team like Vanderbilt. They had no business losing to a bad Oklahoma team in blowout fashion. I think that's what keeps Alabama out. And so, had they won those games, easily Alabama's in. And then South Carolina, South Carolina still had an outside shot, but they were going to need a lot of help in order to get in. And then Army, the only reason why I have Army in here is because they're the next highest group of 5 team. Had Boise State lost and Army ended up winning, of course, Army did beat Tulane in the American Conference Championship game. They might be able to jump up there and sneak and grab a playoff spot from Boise, but it just wasn't to be. So my first 4 out is Miami, Alabama, South Carolina, and Army. All right, so that is my final playoff bracket prediction. What do you think the bracket's going to look like here? We will know here in just a couple of hours. Leave it down below, guys. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.